As an entrepreneur, you need to put yourself out there. Surround yourself with people who are like minded and who have the same goals and ambitions as you do. That way, your small business should be able to strive through networking. I'm Kalilah Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with EXIM Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Joining me now to discuss why networking is important, we have lead trainer at ScaleUP, my girl Danielle Terrelonge, DRT. Danielle, how are you?
Hi, Kalilah. How are you? I'm well, thank you.
No, I have to say you because I know you're traveling, so I'm glad that you're able to make it to us even virtually.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
And while you're traveling, are you doing any networking by chance?
I am actually doing networking. It's funny that you asked that because I am trying to figure out how do I expand my horizons beyond Jamaica? What do I need to do? Who do I need to meet? And what's the kind of conversation that I need to have with people? And I may only get a minute of meeting someone, a recruiter, or a small business owner here in Canada, and I'm very conscious of how I network effectively and with impact.
Yeah, and I asked that because our topic today is about networking. You there at DRT Communication, like I said, you're taking a personal vacation, but still figuring out ways to network. What's the importance of networking for a small business
Well,
or
at
any
DRT
business?
Communications, we are, working with large businesses and small businesses. And in my other company, Scale Up Limited, we are focused primarily on small businesses. So, we get the full gamut of how to network, how to grow your business through networking at all levels, because of course we're growing small businesses that they will end up being large conglomerates, if you will. And for me, networking is one of the more cost effective ways of, growing your business. And, here's why. Networking keeps you relevant. I'm the type of person where if you leave it up to me, I'll probably just stay at home and read my book. But getting out there is a great way of getting in touch with your target audience, the customers you want to sell into, to use your business. It gets you in front of people and it keeps you relevant. I find that when I stay in too much, I lose that relevance. DRT Communications or Scale Up is no longer top of mind for people within my industry. So getting in front of people is absolutely important. And Kalilah, there is nothing more important when networking than the power of conversation, the ability
Hmm.
to, not just do an ad, but be able to say, hi, this is what I do, have that elevator pitch, have it ready all the time, and be able to say, oh wow, there's somebody I'd like to work with, and that opportunity to speak with them. And in the power of conversation comes the ability for emotional connection. And in marketing, we know that the best way to get in touch with your target audience is through creating an emotional connection. And what better way to do that than in some form of networking? The other thing that networking really does is it allows you to collaborate with others in your industry, right? So it may not be a client, but it may be a video producer, it may be a media partner, it may be a supplier or a distributor, and allows you to build your business, build your products and services through collaboration. You also get to know who else is playing in the same game with you, right? Who is cheaper, who is more expensive, what are they offering, what are their products and
Yes.
services. You need to know who is in that sandbox with you. So, and of course, networking these days happens online, offline, less events, but less in person events, but certainly some online ones.
Well, that's the next question I was coming to because it may seem like a simple one, but how do you meet people? And not just anybody, but the right people who can put you in touch with the right other people.
Right. Last year I was actually coaching a client. I wear many hats. I was coaching one of my clients, and we were reached to the part where he was building his business. And one of the things that I ask in to all my clients is, what's working for you and what's not working. And one of the things that he said that it was really eye-opening to me, or maybe just something I knew but needed to hear in the moment, was he's a part of every single organization within his field. He is a financial advisor in Florida, and he is a part of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. He's a part of life insurance agents, you know, of all of these different agencies. So he's very, and I learned a lot from him. What organizations are you a part of that can open doors for you, that do have events? So for us in Jamaica, I am a part of the PSOJ. If there was still, we've talked a lot about ensuring that the Public Relations Society of Jamaica is kickstarted again, and to always be a part of that. You also want
and even the social groups like the Kiwanis and the Rotaries, those are good too.
Absolutely. And then choosing the Rotary or the Kiwanis that would best serve you. So you want to say, I really want to be amongst, business leaders or decision makers. Well, then you don't really want to join the one with, the 25-year-olds, the Rotaracts, because they may be less of the decision makers right now. You may want to look at all the Rotary clubs and Kiwanis and stuff and say, okay, where are people where I'm going to find customers or certainly find collaborators? So being a part of all the organizations around. There's also an opportunity.
Danielle, that's a cool little hack. So if there's somebody specific that you want to meet and introduce yourself to, you can look up and try to find out which professional organizations they're a part of and join that organization.
Join that organization. Look at what committees they serve on. I sit on the membership committee of the PSOJ, and for me, that's just being, playing my part in developing the business community in Jamaica. But it also, I sit on a call with 25 people once per month, and there are opportunities for me, for my company, to be able to offer services to my membership committee. Also, being a part of the PSOJ, just using it as an example, allows me to say to the PSOJ, hey, I'd like to host a conference. I'd like to host a webinar. I'd like to bring my expertise to that next event that you are having. And being a member affords me that opportunity. And that would apply across, as you say, the Rotaries and the Kiwanis. So it's really important to do that. Now, there's some people that say, well, there are no organizations, which I would find hard to believe. I've noticed a couple of friends of mine have started a marketing association. And, that came out of one person who said, let's bring us all together. Some of us are having the same challenges. We're all looking for similar opportunities. Why not start networking opportunities with like-minded people? And of course, now build your own following, build your, this kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but this environment where like-minded people are for collaboration. And of course, you can then go out together and approach potential customers together. Yeah. So I love this idea of collaboration, of using our actual networks and creating opportunities as well.
I don't know about you, Danielle, but I am, and you probably wouldn't guess this, but I am naturally an introvert, like super introverted. Like for me to go out and network and meet somebody, introduce myself to somebody I don't know, I literally have to psych myself up mentally.
I know, totally. People don't think that about me either, but I'm exactly the same.
I have to tell myself, Kalilah, you know who you are. Don't get freaked out. You can do this. They won't chase you away. They won't bite you. Just do it. Just introduce yourself. So how do you overcome those types of fears?
Right. So I'm exactly like you, Kalilah. I don't actually like networking, right? But there are also other things in my life that I don't like doing either, but we have to do them. So for networking, here's what's important. Be bold. Get rid of that gremlin on the shoulder that says you can't, or you're not small enough, or you're a small fry, or small fish, all of the things.
Or you're going to get rejected.
You're going to get rejected. And ask yourself, so what if I get rejected? But suppose I get accepted, right? So get rid of that gremlin. Just brush it off. I actually talk to my gremlin and be like, now is not the time for you, guy. So my gremlin is a male because he's very, very, very strong, right? The other thing is to be prepared. And by being prepared, know exactly where you're going, who will be there, the types of individuals that will be there, the types of companies. So if you're going to an expo, as an example, look at the expo list and say, okay, these 25 companies are going to be there. I'd like to work with these five. Okay. So you say, okay, what would I, if I had the opportunity, because I will in this expo or at this conference to speak with this person, here's what I want them to take away having interacted with me. So you kind of have your cheat sheet, if you will, but it's about being very deliberate and being very intentional around it. So you're finding out who is there and going with that outcome in mind. That outcome could be just a simple conversation and an exchange of business cards. You could be so bold as to say, hey, Guy, I'd really like to have a meeting with you. Are you open for breakfast? Do you do breakfast meetings? Say, for example, you're going out for mentorship. You can ask outright, are you open for mentorship? Um, that is something that has come across my desk quite a bit recently. You could also, and I think this is a little bit more authentic, go with curiosity in mind. You want to meet Richard Biles, and because you'd love to have a half an hour conversation with Richard Biles or Keith Duncan or somebody like that, and your gremlin is talking to you. Well, go with curiosity and say, Mr. Biles, Mr. Duncan, I'd love to know how it is that you manage 17 companies and sit on 55 boards, and you allow that person to start a connection with you. I'll give you a joke. I actually did that with same Keith Duncan, so I'm giving an example. And I know that Keith manages so much, the head of
Yeah.
GM. He manages so much, and I really
He's on
wanted to
EPOC,
understand.
JMB, PSOJs,
PSOJ,
all these
there's so many.
million things.
And I feel like I'm over here drowning with my 2.5 companies, right? And I just wanted to know from him, how does he do it? What's his secret to success? So I knew I had a meeting of about 17 banks, and he was chairing the meeting. I got there early and I was very clear. I said, hey, Keith, I would just love to ask you, how do you do all of this? And I was very surprised by his I thought I expected him to tell me about, leadership and that kind of thing. And he started to engage me more
Well,
on
what did he
managing.
say? Because I want to know how he does it all too.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I don't think he would be remotely upset with me for telling you. He said to me, Danielle, I meditate. I sit down, and I was so shocked by it. He said, I do a lot of meditation. He's very into his exercise, because where he came to me from was the whole person, treating yourself like the whole person, right? I expected him to say, well, you hire in well, and all the kind of things that we all read. And he says, no, I wake up every
Wow.
morning. I ensure that there's meditation. And just so you know, there's another head of company very similar to the likes of a Keith Duncan, who told me the same exact thing 3 weeks
Wow.
later.
I need to try
Spend
that again because I tried it. George Stephanopoulos from ABC News. He swears by it. I think he wrote a book on it, and I tried it a couple times, but I always fall asleep. So I guess I'm not doing it right. I should try it again.
Exactly. So I went with an intention in mind. I got the opportunity to sit on this committee that he was chairing, and I wanted to have a little bit more time with him. And so I went with that curiosity, knowing exactly the type of information that I wanted for him. And as I said, I did it with someone else a few weeks before, because I wanted to learn how to be this whole leader. I want to be able to do more, and to be able to have an audience with someone like that, whom I regard and respect. Being intentional and deliberate was very important. So that's a bit of insight into how I think those people can network. I also think that when we are on social media and online events, we're not talking about just running up into someone's DMs with some random, hey, can you be my mentor? Approach them, as I said,
I
from
get that a lot.
curiosity. Yeah, of course, we all do. And certainly as a wellness coach, I get that a lot. Can you tell me how you lost weight? Well, I'm glad to tell you how I lost weight. What I would really love is to be able to have that consultation with you, and know that, I'm also running a business here. So when people, my advice to those networking through using social media is to perhaps refer to, hi, I saw you as a speaker at this event. You did say that we could reach out to you. Here are some questions that I would have. If it's one question, I'm willing to answer it in DM. if it's a few questions and I see where I have an opportunity to serve, I'm going to send them my Calendly link and ask them to schedule, a time that I devote to small business development, that I have that as a standing in my calendar for people to jump in. Um, and a lot of people do that. I think we need to remember, especially as small business owners, trying to grow, is that there are many heads of companies and many CEOs who want to help. Sometimes, they may not have the time. They want to help. They want to give time. They want to give back. They too were in the position that many of us were in. They want to. We just have to be very bold and very deliberate in how we reach out to them. And I can say this as a woman, and I'm sure men have a similar experience. Be careful how you reach out, because especially in social media, we don't necessarily want to feel creeped out by you. So I had someone, and he actually has ended up being a great friend, that reached out and said, "Hi, I saw you speak at I can't remember the event. I think it was a Sagicor event, and he said you spoke a lot about reading. Would you be able to give me your top 5 books that you recommend for life?" And I said, okay, here are marketing, here are business, here are personal development, and health and fitness. And as a result, we started to develop a book exchange in Instagram. He didn't come with the "Hey, you're so beautiful" thing, which just does not work. It creeps us out as women. As I said, I'm sure men have a similar experience. But be careful of your language when you're approaching people, especially in the social media space. Just to let you know, also, I've had that experience in the in-person space where somebody's like, "Hey, I just saw you speak, and I think you're really hot." Well, no, I think it was a professional event, right? So I don't think
Oh goodness. Let me give you a joke, Daniel, of something that happened to me one time. So we were at a professional event and we, shared notes and whatnot. We're in a similar industry. And afterwards, the person reached out to me and invited me to lunch. No, I thought that this was a business lunch. I thought this was
right,
a meeting based on the things we were talking about before.
right,
Turns out it was a date.
right, right. So, you know,
I was an
I
unwilling
mean,
participant in this date. It was so
I
awkward.
did. Exactly. And you who had a husband may have had a very unwilling husband for this day too. And what happens is that becomes, you shut down. As I said, I can
Mhm.
only speak from the female perspective, but you start to shut down opportunities where someone like me or a Kalilah or many others would want to help, want to serve you, serve your business, etc. But be very careful about how you um approach people. Ensure you're being very professional about it, um and very very deliberate, so that this person has a sense of comfort. We are creating emotional connection in networking, and you want that emotional connection to be positive, to feel safe and secure.
Well, thank you so much, Danielle. You've shared so many gems. This was a great conversation. But before we go, tell me a little bit about Scale Up, what you guys do, what the services you offer, and how we can contact you.
Sure, no problem. So ScaleUp Jamaica Limited is a training company. So it came out because in DRT we have a lot of small businesses who want to work with us, but it doesn't become affordable for them. So my partner Rick and I from Lucrolux Marketing decided that we wanted to provide training, all day training, workshops, and some form of coaching to small businesses who want to scale their business to the next level. So we work with you on taking you from your business objectives with a result of a marketing plan that you will be able to execute, and also know how to talk to graphic artists, how to brief those within marketing industry. So we have online workshops, in-person workshops. We're starting to think those through coming for January. And you can find me on at Scale Up and Go. And of course, my personal Instagram is at Danielle DRT, as well as at DRT Communications. But we also have our website, scaleupandgo.com. So many ways to find me.
Thank you very much again, Danielle. All the best to you. Enjoy your trip.
I will. Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm glad to come back and talk to any other small businesses. I'm here for it to serve others.
All right, bye. Networking is a cost effective way of growing your business and keeps you relevant. Be bold. So, what if you get rejected? You may be surprised and get accepted. Be prepared and be intentional. Networking will provide you the opportunity to collaborate with others in your industry. Joining a professional organization can open doors for you and help you to meet the right people. That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with EXIM Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Visit their website at eximbankja.com and visit my website, KalilahReynolds.com, for a summary of this episode. You can click the link in the description box below. I'm Kalilah Reynolds. Until next time.